What's going on, guys? I want to give you a little update on where I've been and what's going on since the last time I filmed a video. So the last video I filmed, I got 4,000 views, and for me that was super exciting. I was super pumped and I was ready to make more new content. I got really busy at work. I had a side project, repiping my father-in-law's house. I haven't had enough time to jump on here and make some great content for you. So here I am, I'm back, giving you guys some updates on the tanks, how they've been, what's going on, and let's get right into it. All right, so let's start with this planted tank. The last time we talked, I was talking about how I had an issue with my planted tank. The plants were unhealthy, the fish were dying off. We were trying to figure out what was wrong. We had talked about it with a lot of different people. From that video going what I would call viral, I know 4,000 views to a lot of people isn't viral, but for me it was. But from that video I got a lot of great advice, a lot of great understanding of what was going on, especially from Father Fish himself. He reached out, you know, and I had titled that video that Father Fish was wrong. Let's be honest, it was a little clickbaity. I just wanted to get extra clicks because I knew if I put Father Fish's name in the title, I was going to get a little extra hits. So that being said, the tank behind me is the planted tank. It's doing a lot better than what it was. The fish are now thriving. Every fish that's in there has been in there since I got it, except there are some brand new angelfish that I added, of which a couple didn't actually make it. A couple of them got sick and passed away. I'm not exactly sure why. It might have been the different conditions. But what's crazy is the ones that are in there are thriving. The ones that I put in there that were my angelfish from the beginning, it's Silver Dollar and Ghost are their names. They were the first fish that we bought when we started picking up fish. When we started fish skipping last year. And they were pretty beat up. They had a lot of fin damage from being put in the tank with other fish that probably shouldn't have been with them. And everything's been going good though since we put them in this tank. Their fins grew back, which is pretty awesome because they've only been in there like a month. With that being said, the new fish that we have in there is beautiful. I added some green neon tetras today, or I guess they're green tetras. Green neons? I added some green tetras today. I'm really happy with them. I've had them in my toolbox tank in the back for a while, and I really like how they're turning out. So yeah, that's how we are. I'm going to be doing some cleaning on this tank probably tonight. I'm going to be doing it, but I'm going to film it for a different video that we're going to make in the future going forward. A lot of my content's going to come down to talking about trying to be a fish tuber, what my plans for the channel are, and a lot of that will take place while I'm doing maintenance for my fish, because, you know, I think that's what's important, is showing people keeping your fish tanks up, cleaning, and how that can react, how the fish can react to that. That said, let's talk a little bit about my African cichlid tank. I don't know if you've seen it in the video, but I keep darting my eyes because I can't take my eyes off of them. So my African cichlids, they're doing great. Unfortunately, we have had a couple fish loss over there. Nothing that I'm scared of. We had one that I think I left the tank door open, the top, and one of the fish jumped out. We just found a dead fish on the floor. It was all dried out, so it had been out for a while. And then we had a littler fish. It was an albino. It passed away today. I found it when I was right about to make content. I'll show a little clip of it in the tank. There's only so much you can see, but it's a bummer. One of the problems I'm having right now with the African cichlid tank is I actually want more fish. Since the beginning of this year, I've lost a few. It's a natural process. Some of it was because of accident that I had when I didn't add the chlorinator back. Some of it was just because, you know, these guys fight a lot. They might get sick and then something happens and then, you know, they might not make it. But overall, I'm looking at them right now and all the fish are healthy, so I'm really happy with that. Just to finish off with the African cichlid tank, I do want to get more fish soon. I'm really bummed about not having fish. One of the biggest problems with adding fish, let's talk about this real quick. One of the biggest problems with adding fish to the African cichlid tank is the cost. Every fish now that I'm going to add has to be similar in size. I can't add fish that are too small. If I add a fish that's similar in size, they're going to be about $40 a fish. Now, there are positives to that. At this age, at this size, when I add them, I know I'm going to add males. You know, it's very unlikely that they're not going to be males. I can get guaranteed male at this size because you can even vent the fish. now that they're at this size. And I can feel confident that I'm not gonna have too many females in the tank. That being said, the cost of the fish is kind of a bummer, but it's also that you gotta set up a quarantine tank. You don't wanna add fish that might be sick to get the rest of your fish that are expensive sick. So, I mean, it's a real hassle to add fish to this African cichlid tank, but I would like to add like 20 fish. Obviously you can't add them all at once, but I would add like you know, I've had about 10 die off since the last time. Or maybe not. Now maybe I had 10 die off and I added 5. You know, it's something like that. There's been a few die off and a few that I added, but I'm definitely minus what I would have been. So that being said, I want to add fish eventually. You know, everything comes down to time and energy and money. We'll get to it when we can. That being said, the next tank I want to talk about this kitchen tank. This tank is what I started out as, a tank that had all my original fish in it. There's still some in there. My pleco's in here. It's actually my wife's pleco. It's her favorite fish. My upside down catfish is in the kitchen tank. I'm really a fan of that fish. It looks really cool. I also now have 2 Oscars, and no, they're not gonna stay in here. This is not the plan to keep them here. I'm not silly. I know that they're gonna get big. Eventually I'm gonna have a fish room in my back room, and I'm gonna put some tanks back there, and that's where they're gonna end up. But right now, they're doing fine. They're very small. They're not growing as fast as people try to say they grow. I've had one of my Oscars now for 2 months. He eats every day, twice a day. He's doing great. He's still perfect size. Let's move on to the toolbox tank. Right now it's overgrown. It needs some work, but it is super healthy. The fish are happy. The shrimp is happy that's in there. The snails are happy. Everyone's doing great. It's awesome. You know, I'm really happy with the progress that tank has made. And there's no negativity. It's just that I gotta clean it up a little bit, and I gotta go ahead and cut it back a little bit. There are some negatives that I want to go over. Some sadness that we had. My pufferfish Mikey has not made it. In between today's video and the last video I made, Mikey got sick. I believe he had a parasite because he just stopped eating. He was doing good. Mikey is a carnivore and he would just eat meat. You had to give him, I gave him frozen bloodworms, frozen krill, stuff like that. And eventually, just one day, he just stopped eating. And it could have been a water conditioning issue. I maybe could have changed their water a little bit more. But he was all by himself. I'm sure he was okay. But yeah, I think he got a parasite. In the future, I won't be keeping a brackish water tank. It was a little bit more annoying than I wanted to deal with. I thought it was going to be fun having something different, something that you can change. But it was kind of, to tell you the truth, I didn't like that, you know, it wasn't the vibe that I was going for. I've really become a fan of this planted tank look, and Mikey couldn't have planted tanks because it was a brackish water system. Plants don't do as good in there. Also, I wasn't a fan that, you know, I couldn't really put other fish with Mikey. He had to be on his own. So that was kind of a bummer. We tried adding other puffers in the meantime, and you know, they just didn't make it. Yeah, so now that Mikey's gone, I have that free 20-gallon tank. I don't think I'm gonna add anything to it right now. I think I'm actually gonna take that tank out of my room. Eventually, when I set up my fish room in the back room, I'm gonna have it back there. I'll figure out what I wanna do with it. But since I'd be converting it, the problem here's the issue. Here's the reason I'm not adding another fish, is because when you set up a new tank, you know, that was a brackish water tank. To take it out and do everything I want to make a new system, I'm gonna have to buy new substrate, new filters, not a new filter, but you know, filter media. I have to do a lot, and I just don't want to do that right now. Also, I didn't want to have it in my room anymore. To tell you the truth, I didn't like the sound of the filters at night. I didn't like when the water would kind of evaporate a little bit and you can hear the hang on the back filter. I wasn't a fan. You know, I wasn't a fan of the vibration of the sponge filter, that every now and then you can hear it. I like peace and quiet when I sleep. And the same goes for the guppy tank. You know, I wasn't happy with the guppy tank ever since we installed it. We had it for a while. It wasn't something that really ever brought me happiness. They were cool for a little bit, but I didn't vibe with it. And once the guppies, I realized I didn't want them no more. I kind of spread them around, and yeah, they're not around anymore. Let's just say that. Some fish are full. That being said, we were thinking about putting a fish bowl in the bedroom, something low tech with plants, and eventually just having shrimp in there. And I think that'd be kind of cool. I think that's a good idea. Something like that, either a fish bowl or even a nice clear tank of some sort that's rimless. I don't like either one of the tanks that I have. As far as the view, they're very usable. They're not bad tanks, but going forward especially, I want every tank I get to visually be a good tank. It's not just about holding the fish. I want the tank is part of the display, and I want every fish tank I have going forward to be visually something I like looking at. Much like how the planted cube in my living room is. Sort of how my tank for the 125, ever since we did the update, I'm really happy with it. I'm really happy with how my 125 looks now. Going forward, that's the idea. Keep the tanks looking good. So let's talk a little bit real quick before we go about how I want the rest of my videos to go going forward. In the next few videos I'm gonna make, it's all gonna be all about trying to be a fish tuber, you know, trying to be a YouTube fish guy, and the things that go into it, how my journey has been, what has my experience been, and yeah, I'm excited to share that with you guys, let you guys all know about it. I got some experience now that I can share. I've had a lot of positives. I think I was trending in the right direction before I stopped, and I think there's things that can go good from here on out, and I'm really happy with that. And that's the direction that I want to take. So, all right, guys, thank you for joining me. I look forward to seeing you guys on the next one.